Morning everybody. So this morning I'm going to show you how I make these Christmas cards. I think they're gorgeous. So they're little baubles and then I just stamp inside. You stamp whatever you like inside and a little bit of extra sparkle. That's that one. And then we have this one. These are on a 5x5 card base. And then these ones are on a 6x6 card base. These ones I haven't done holly, I've just done some like green foliage on these ones. Some little bunnies and some little dancing mice. The mice and the bunnies or hares are by Lavinia Stamps, and then these deers are just random stamps that I've had off the front of covers of magazines. So anyway, I'm going to show you what you need to make these and then we'll crack on and make it. I'll pop those to one side. So what you'll need is, I'll go through them. So I've got some stickles here that I like to add a little bit of sparkle to my card. So this one's Stardust, and for the berries I use this one, which is Wine Cellar. We have some inks, so I have my VersaFine Clair in Twilight. Distress Oxide, for this one I'm going to use Peacock Feathers. I have used Tumble Glass and I have used the Salty Ocean before. I just like the bluey greens on this colour, so I'll be using that one today. You will also need, we'll start with your card base. So again, this is a 4x4. No, it's not. It's a 5x5, and this one's a hammered card, just some that I had in my stash, so I'm using those up. You will need your piece of card that you're going to work on. This I've cut down to 4x4, and then for matting I've got a little bit of gold mirror card, and this is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. You will also need to be able to create your frame. So I have just die cut these, and to make the frame higher or give it a little bit of depth, I've cut 3 from white card, which will glue together, and then the gold mirror card will get glued on top. And the easiest way to do that is to grab your dies and put them together like this. This way you will get your outer circle, and you will also get, like I have here, randomly inner circles. You can use one of the white ones, which I'm going to do as your base for working on. So there we go. So they're left over, but I will find a use for those, no doubt. Okay, and just so the size of these are, I think that one, let me just give that a quick measure. So the larger one, yeah, 3 inches and 2.5 inches. I'll pop those away again. Okay, so we're going to start with making or doing our background. I've done them all slightly differently. Some are just a little bit of ink around the outside with a bit of stamping on the corners. This one I totally inked it up, splashed it with some water, and then I went ahead and I stamped and I embossed very, very slightly, just to see what it looked like really. So yeah, so today we're just going to go ahead and start on that. What you also need, before I forget, for your foliage, I've just die cut some holly here and some green foliage, and then these 3 little beads will go to the top of the ornament to give the effect that it's hanging down. Okay, so I'm going to move those out of the way over there, and we're going to start with our base. There we go. So for this one I'm going to use the Peacock Feathers again, the Distress Oxide ink. I'll just get my brush, and we're going to start by just inking up edges It's quite a nice strong colour, this one, so just take that off. I'm just going to go round the edges. I may decide to do the whole thing. Again, it's just how you want it to look, what feel you want from your card. Go around the edges here. This is quite a strong colour, to be fair, so I think what I will probably do is ink everything. Try not to get my fingers in it and leave little fingerprints. Now, again, I think I said this in my bookmark video, I'm not overly precious about the blending on this kind of project. Because I'm going to splash it with water for one and stamp on it. There we go, nice little background. Now the beauty of Distress Oxide is that the ink oxidises when you add water. So I'm just put a little bit in my hand and then I'm just going to flick it at the card. Make sure that's in shot for you, that bit of a flick. Like that. Move that out the way because I've now got water on that. I let that water sink in just for a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a piece of tissue and just take that water off. I think this gives a gorgeous effect. There we are. Now bear in mind your ornament is going to be sat in the middle. So let's just take the gold one for now. Move out of the way. So you can decide what orientation then you want your card to go. I think I'm going to have mine coming down like that. I quite like the splatters coming downwards. Okay. So the next step, what I did on, I'll bring them back in quickly, on some of these cards. So again, this was a lighter blue and I just stamped like a winter verse. Again, that's a Lavinia one. And the same with that one. And the same with that one. But I'm going to use a different stamp today, and I have this, just grab it. I think I grabbed this off of Amazon. It's just a little grungy background Christmas stamp, so I'm going to use that just to add a little bit of detail to my corners here. So I'll take that out, take it off of there, make sure I've got it up the right way. And I'm not even going to put this on a platform. I'm literally just going to take my ink. I'm going to try with the same colour first of all. Just give that some ink on there. And turn it up this way. And just dab it in place really. There we go. And the same in the corner. Just gives a nice little finish to the corners. Move that one out of the way. If I hold that up, hopefully you should be able to see. Well, I hope you can see that on camera. Okay, so the next step, nice and simple. We're just going to glue our circles together to create our frame. I'm going to grab my glue. So this is the Art Glitter Glue. Again, one of my favourites. It dries quickly and it dries clear. So we're just going to glue our circles together. It takes a little bit of time, but not too long. Make sure they're lined up. And the next one. There we go, and then we're just going to pop the gold one on top. So that's your frame done. You may get a little bit glue on there, but it does rub off. Get those lined up properly. There we are. So that's your frame, and that's going to go in the centre of your card. Not quite lined up, but go with it. Okay, so that's that part done. The next part you've got to work on is the inside with your image on. So this is just the circle of card that came out from the middle of the die cuts when I was cutting the frames. We can keep this nice and easy and nice and simple. So what I'm going to do is, with the ink that's just left on my brush, I'm just going to go over the top part, and that's going to create our winter sky. Like that. Then I'm going to take my VersaFine Clair Twilight. I still got some ink on my brush, so I don't need to re-ink, because all I want to do is just touch up and give a little bit of a darker depth to that sky. Okay, that's the first part. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in our stamping. Now my stamps, these stamps were, this is some trees, literally just off of the front of magazine covers. I collect them and I have a lot. And again with the deer, these were off the front of a magazine cover. So yeah, so we're going to use those. So we're going to start with our trees. And I think for the trees, so I'm going to use VersaFine Clair Rainforest. And we'll just ink that stamp up. Like that. Now I don't want to pop it straight on, I want to create the illusion that they're in the distance. So what I'm going to do is just grab a piece of copy paper. Okay, and we're just going to tear across like this. And then what we can do is we can use this over our circle, as this will be like the grounding. So I'm just going to take my stamp and we're going to start stamping. I like to do first and secondary stamping. Ink that up again, and we'll put, keeping that in pretty much in place. We'll put some trees here and then another one here. There we go, there's our nice little tree line. Then I'm going to add the deer. Let's pop them on. I think I have to pop them that way. Pop the lid back on that one. And for this one, I'm using VersaFine Clair Nocturne. Let's just ink up those deer. Nice little family of deer, this one. That's some ink. There we go. And we're just going to place them wherever you want them, really. So I'm going to put them right here. Hold that down for a little while and let that ink soak into the card. And hopefully we have a nice little silhouette. There we are. That's that one done. Nice and easy, nice and simple. Okay. So next we're just going to add in a little bit of detail, and I like to use my little detail brushes. Where we are, that one. So a little detail brush, and I'm just going to use, I think, where is it? So we'll use the VersaFine Clair Twilight for this one. Just take a little bit of that ink. I'm just going to rub it in there to take some of that ink off. test it on our paper, and then just across the back and under their feet, just to give that illusion of a snowy ground. Oh yeah, that's that one done. Pop that away. So now we have our backgrounds. So the next step is to assemble, start to assemble our card. I'm going to take this, and then you're going to have this. I like to keep this quite low because I know I've got to get my 3 half beads up here and as central as possible. So the first thing I'm going to do is stick that down. Probably a bit too much glue on that. There we go. And pop this on here. Hold that down so that sticks down. Again, any glue you get on here, it will rub off. So this part is now going to go in here. So we're going to add a little bit of glue to the back of our image. Keeping it straight as possible, pop that inside. Okay, now I like to use, if I can find it, it's my bead picker, and I use this end just to run around that edge and make sure it's pressed down. There we are. And then the next part is we're going to add our little beads. So again, try and be central, just 3 little dots. Glue, there we go. Bring these beads in. And then they're going to go on here. Now again, this glue does dry beautifully clear, so you won't see that around the edges. I think I have that straight. There we are. Okay, some glue on there. Now that's done, what I like to do next is to actually add it to the backing card before I start adding the foliage. So I'm just going to take this and glue this to our matting layer, trying to get it as central as possible. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to glue it to my card blank. Again, this was a 5x5. Let's pop this, some glue on here. I hope everybody's having a lovely day. It's starting to rain here today, although we have had some beautiful hot sunshine. And I think we're in for another little bit of a heat wave, so we will see. There we go. Okay, so the next part is to add our little bit of foliage. So you can decide whether you want holly or you just want some leaves. Totally your choice. So I'm just going to decide what I want where. I've got using cut out in different greens this time. Yeah, I think I'm going to go like that. So we'll start with this one. I'm just going to take the stem off. A little bit of glue on the back and pop that down in place. A little bit of glue on the back. There we go. And then the same with this one. I'm going to take the stem off of that one. and pop that down in place. There we go. That's your holly on. Then we can grab our stickles. If I can remember where I put them, there they are. So first of all, I'm just going to use this one, Stardust, and we're just going to add a little bit of glitter. It comes out just nice and slowly, just across, especially where they're standing. So they're standing in the snow. A little bit and a little bit across the tree line. Like that. Got one, and then for the berries I'm going to use this wine cellar stickles, and we're just going to add, let's make sure it's not coming out too fast, 3 little berries on here. There we go, and that's it. That is your card done. I think they look fabulous, gorgeous little ornaments. I mean, you could do this in silver mirror card, some little silver half back beads and a silver matten layer, but and you can put whatever you want in the middle, quite honestly. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and I will be back with some more videos in the future. So have a lovely day and happy crafting.